Anyway, all right, man. Can we? Is it Jake100? Is that the legal name? Is that what
That
Jake100?
is, it's fully the officially legal name now. I've
Yeah.
declared it. Yeah, Jake 100.
All right. So Jake100, welcome to the podcast, dude. Appreciate you taking the time out. Like we were just saying, it's a beautiful day. And we're sitting indoors, but hey, this is what it is, unfortunately. So, thank you. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to a chat.
Yeah,
And
it's my pleasure.
and yeah, man, welcome. I know you've done a few podcasts before, but sort of excited to see where this goes and what we can talk about and stuff. I'll be honest, man. Like I've seen you pop up in various things, like from either my friends' vlogs, and I've seen you. You know, I've obviously been aware of you on Instagram because that seems to have blown up pretty big for you. But when it's come to like doing a bit of research for this, I've decided to not really go too deep on it because I thought I want to come at it kind of naive and try and, because I don't really know, obviously I'm involved in the mountain bike and action sports culture pretty heavy, but I don't know shit about bike life and stuff like that. So I really want to come at it and try and figure it out a little bit myself. And I think, with the greatest respect, a lot of our listeners might not know much about what you do and how it works and the culture and stuff like that. So that's kind of a reason that, I had a little bit of a look around and I was like, I feel like for me coming at this just totally naive is going to be the move. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to navigate through it and sort of learn a little bit more about you and a little bit more about this movement that's, happening and stuff like that I guess you're at the forefront of. But first, I want to know a bit more about you, man. Like, let's just take it all the way back. Where did you grow up, and like, what got you into bikes, and what did you do before?
So, yeah, I was born and raised in East London. It's where I've been my whole life. I moved out of my mum's last year, stayed in East London. It's the best bit of London. Probably
Okay.
the best bit of the UK, in my opinion. Um, and I guess growing up, my dad, when I was really young, my dad used to ride a motorbike. Before his injury, he used to ride pedal bikes as well. He used to go out, yeah, with my dad and my brother. So I always had that love for bikes from early. Like I was put on a bike as a kid, and it was it was always a hobby when I was young.
Mm,
Um, on the side from riding, like riding was the hobby, but my main focus, my goal was football. Like,
really?
it was my be all and end all dream. Yeah, was football. But bikes being bikes, had a bit of a major injury. Um, Ended up tearing my ACL, having like 3 operations on my knee, and it kind of ruined my football career.
Right.
And then that whole time I was injured, like that was the point where I really worked out that bikes was my true passion, what I really actually wanted to do, because all I could think about and all I wanted to do was get back out on a bike. It wasn't to go and play football or to go to training. It was, I want to go and explore. I want to go have fun, and I want to go and ride bikes.
Got you. Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of
What sort of
how it
level of
came
football did you
about.
get to then? Like, what were you, were
I
you
was
getting picked up or?
Yeah, so I was scouted for a few teams. I was playing for my brother. I played for London in a seven-a-side tournament one time, which
Wow.
was sick. Like that was like one of the biggest achievements probably was, yeah, getting handpicked for a team of 8 or 9 of us in London to play um different parts of the UK basically.
Wow.
And yeah, I remember I was around the time I got injured. I'd just been on trial. I'd been dabbling with Fulham Football Club, trying to get in there, but yeah, the injury took over, and I got injured BMXing as
Did you?
well.
I was going to ask, like,
Yeah, it was
what did you,
BMX.
yeah, what sort of riding were you doing? That's interesting. It's just, I saw like
Mm,
in an interview that I read quickly,
yeah,
that you grew up riding bikes in the forest and jumping like routes and stuff like that. So is
yeah.
that what you were doing most of as a kid? Were you, did the family sort of take you mountain biking, quote unquote?
Nah,
Okay.
I never really went mountain biking like that, but
Right.
we had like a little uh, like a little forest nearby. It was called Hollow Pond. I remember that place. It's in Leytonstone in East London.
Okay.
And we're just finding like the tiniest things to jump. Like that was kind of where we'd mess about as kids as well, and we'd go hang out there and try and build these tiny little jumps, but it never really progressed more than that. We started bit like as I got a bit older, I got a BMX. I wanted to go to the skate parks and do street riding. And then obviously the injuries on the BMX, which put me out of football. It wasn't the best idea to go back to BMX at that point with my knee. And that's where I got a mountain bike and kind of stayed on the streets, but with a mountain bike. And that's kind of where the style that I ride now, all the wheelies, that's kind of where it was born. Just
really, yeah,
not having much to do, but having a mountain bike but still loving tricks. So we kind of just did what was possible.
Yeah. So how much like BMX were you riding as a kid? You said obviously you got injured doing it, so you're riding like skate park or street, or I guess your environment lends itself to street anyway. You know, you've not got a mountain bike facility, I guess, on the doorstep. So that's always an effort to get out there if you've not got, you know, I guess parents who aren't supportive to drive you an hour or something to go riding or...
My parents would have. My parents were like some of the most supportive people, which is a major blessing to me. But it was like I didn't really have knowledge about the mountain bike world. I didn't know about the bikes. We didn't have the money to be buying these the really expensive bikes. I know you don't really need them, but that's kind of what you believe when you're young or a bit naive about the sport. You kind of believe that you need these expensive ones. So it was like it was never really that accessible or I even thought it would be accessible, you know. So
yeah, it is kind of weird that there is, even at a young age with mountain biking, there's that barrier of entry because you need to get, you know, a mountain bike with front suspension. Then your mate gets one that's got like front and rear suspension. Then you're always playing that like catch up game, I think. And it is true, man. There is a barrier of entry to get into mountain biking for sure. You know, you need to be in the mountains in theory, right? You need to have countryside, and if you're in London, it's not easily accessible and stuff. So
and growing up, I don't know anyone, I don't see anyone doing mountain biking or have a cousin or family who's mountain biking. Like it's just not. I'm not in that world. Growing up, it was football, BMX, skateboarding, or skating, and it was like I just loved football and BMX at the time. And then now the whole wheelie culture is like. It's what every young kid wants to do in London now, which is crazy.
Yeah, dude, for sure. It's been really interesting, you know, like learning a little bit more about it. And like I say, I've seen it. I understand totally what you do and stuff, but sort of trying to understand the culture a little bit more is what sort of interests me, and also why these kids are doing what they're doing, and obviously the movement you guys have started. But when did you first start getting into this sort of the wheelies and stuff like that? You said you got injured. The football thing was done.
Yeah,
done. What sort of age are you then at that point?
I must have been like 14, I think 13, 14, like early teenager.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was still in school and stuff when all the injuries went down. And I picked up just doing wheelies for fun. Like I remember me and my mates in school, we'd come out of school and see who could wheelie the longest down the high road and stuff. Like, so yeah, I must have been like early teens when that started. But it was like I never had a vision or a plan,
right,
for wheeling. At that point, I've kind of thought, like, shit, I'm not really gonna be a professional athlete. Like, football's done, BMXing, I'm kind of over it. Like, like I kind of had no direction at that point. So. Wheeling wasn't even a thing like, okay, it's going to be big in 5 years and I'm going to be able to get paid from it. Like, no one was doing it. So it was literally just something we did because we were bored and had nothing else to do, kind of. And then, over the years, as we started posting Instagram clips and stuff and trying new tricks, or we're seeing a couple riders out in America doing the same thing at like quite a low level still at this point. Like not very many tricks or whatever, and we're kind of just bouncing back and forth, and the scene just began to grow and grow and grow.
For sure. So what is as far as you're concerned, what is the history of this movement of bike life and stuff? So you said you started seeing it in America, and that's where I've personally seen the most of it was moto stuff, like dirt bikes, you know, around certain cities and stuff like that. Like that's where I've seen it, and then it looks like it's sort of made this leap over to maybe to the UK. I always feel the UK is 6 to 8 months a year behind anything that happens in America anyway, so I feel like it'll have blown up there, then maybe it's moved over here. And then you've got young kids who maybe, again, barrier of entry, right? They can't get a dirt bike. They can't, maybe they're too young. So has it then like made a move to bikes, like cycle bikes? Is that accurate?
I I believe so. I kind of just, for me, yeah, I believe so. Because obviously, I remember when I was younger, you'd see all the videos of the guys wheeling the dirt bikes and stuff. But one, in the UK, it's a lot harder. The laws are a lot stricter over here. There's
Yeah.
CCTV cameras are crazy, and it's like it's kind of a no go. That scene. It's like you do it, but you don't show it. You're gonna have to hide yourself. Like it's a risky game, and but I guess yeah, there was that whole culture of wheeling the motorbikes, but I guess in London, at least, and I'm sure other places in the UK and across the world, it's like you'd see, like growing up, you'd see the older lot in the area, you see all the older guys, they'll be wheeling bikes, nothing like no tricks or anything, but they'll just be wheeling around doing whatever they're doing. So it was like you would see people wheeling, which is kind of why I learned and kind of discovered
Yeah.
wheeling in a sense, is because you'd see other people doing it in the local area. But then I guess from a mix of BMX, mountain biking, the dirt bike scene, like kind of taking inspiration from all the different bike scenes, is like we then came up with tricks we can do whilst wheeling. We could then work out the levels that we're trying to push. Like we're trying to go super fast now because we'd see BMXers doing hill bombs or skateboarders. So it's like, all right, cool. Why don't we hill bomb whilst wheeling? Or it's like we see dirt bike riders doing knack-knacks, flying like motocross, doing knack-knacks. So it's like, all right, cool. Can we try and do a knack-knack whilst we're wheeling? So it's like, that's kind of where, at least for me, that's where I would draw a lot of inspiration from, was other scenes and other tricks. And how do I then do this on my bike?
And dude, it's so interesting because when you're a kid, you first get a bike as well. Like the first thing you want to do is wheelie that thing, right? Like I grew up, that was me as a kid, just wheelie everywhere, wheelie uphill, downhill. I learned to manual super early actually, which was really weird for a kid because manuals weren't really a thing when I was young. I mean, I'm no doubt older than you, right? So when I was, I don't know, 12, 13, for some reason manuals just weren't a thing. We didn't even know about it. We just used to pull wheelies and just pedal like crazy, like just doing the fastest wheelie we could. So it's just that thing that you're naturally drawn to anyway, but obviously you've taken it to a whole new level. But I sort of resonate with it quite a lot because of how, well, dude, basically how fun a wheelie is. Like it never gets old, does it? Right? Like a manual down a hill never gets old. Like
it's like the best feeling.
100%. You can be having the worst day ever, and a cruise down a hill on the back wheel will just like change the entire day, right? So
the whole game,
100%. But it's cool that you draw inspiration. That was like one of my questions I was going to ask you actually, is like where you draw inspiration from. And it's interesting that you said even skateboarding, taking the hill bombing scene and moving that into, I saw like a recent video of you basically riding almost like a speedway track, super fast. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty sick. Like I'd never even thought about taking it there personally. So yeah.
I guess that's literally, for me, it's literally drawing inspiration from all these other guys that are successful in their own scenes or pushing limits. That's like really what I strive to do constantly, is push my own limits, push the limits of the scene and what's possible on the bike that I ride. And it's like, even to the point now, it's like as that clip you were talking about me on the speedway, it's like I've come together with a team of guys, other riders and people from London. There's 5 of us, and we've come up with a whole race series, and it's like the world's first wheelie racing. Even like it's never been done before, and we've had 3 events now. The last one was a few weeks ago, and it's like, even that, it's like we've seen racing on all these other bikes, but we're like, okay, our scene hasn't got racing, so I'm like, all right, let's go get a go-kart track and wheelie around it, and whoever drops the wheel is out the race. So, and then you just keep going around and stuff. So, and then we're at each event we're coming up with new types of racing, and to just keep pushing the scene and kind of expanding it.
Sure. What's cool is, you hear about people who have been at the forefront of, new sports and stuff like that, is that it feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you are literally at the start of something quite new, really. Like, I'm from a motocross background, so I remember growing up and watching the freestyle motocross scene blow up, and it was like, it's just this this potential that's in front of it that's just been it's not been sort of reached yet. It's not even anywhere close to being reached yet. And like you say, you're introducing all these new elements of it, and it's all seems quite new and quite exciting, which is pretty sick, especially for you to be like right at the front of all that stuff. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Obviously, like I don't know. In life, I just have this mindset of I do what I do because I love it, and it is what it is, kind of. And I do my thing. So it's like a lot of the time, yeah, I know I'm at the forefront of it in a sense, but I'm just literally just trying to push it
Yeah,
for the scene. I'm literally the bigger and the really and truly, it's just trying to get what we do recognized as more as a sport in a
yeah,
sense. So it's like the wheelie racing, these sort of tricks, the certain types of videos, and it's like really now trying to shape what started off in the early days as something that was seen to be fairly negative to now something that's seen to be one of the most positive things for a young person to do
for
in London.
sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's just like you're really trying to bring that all together in one
Yeah,
community.
yeah. I really want to like take a bit of a deep dive into that as well about, you know, the community element of it and, you know, ultimately what you're trying
Mm.
to achieve, the positive stuff, what you're trying to achieve. When did you first though start realizing you were quite good at this stuff? Like, was there a moment where it did something blow up? Don't know, you know. Again,
Uh,
and sorry to interrupt you, but like, go back to everyone loves riding a bike. Everyone loves a wheelie. When you're a
yeah,
kid, the first thing you want to do is wheelie it. The girls like it, you know, all that sort of stuff. You can show off to your parents, to your friends, and whatever. But
yeah.
was there a moment when you are actually, I'm doing more than just wheeling a bike? There's something here, like there's a movement, or there's a sport or something ahead of it.
Yeah, there's a couple moments, I guess, where we've like that really hit me, and it's like in those moments, it's like when I think back to them now, it's still kind of mind blowing, and it's just moments such as like the bike storms rideouts, the rideouts that happen every year in London, which have like 4 or 5 thousand young people on, all riding out for the same reason, for fun, enjoying each other. There's no problems. Um, see, because from back in the day, we used to meet up and put things out on Instagram like, yo, let's all go ride, and there'll be 5 of us
Right.
every single Saturday,
Yeah.
6 of us, and that
Yeah.
was it. 6 people in the city. Now I ride into the city with my 6 friends that ride, and I'm gonna bump into 30, 40, 50 kids as I ride through the city, all in different groups, like doing the same thing. So it's like bike storms and that those major ride outs that continue to happen throughout the year is one of those things where like you it really makes you understand how big the community is and how inclusive
Yeah.
it is for all the young
Yeah.
people. And then I guess other moments like doing the Nike advert a couple years back, which was in cinemas across the country. It was a global advert. And then signing to them after, and then like yeah,
It's
just there's
huge.
just a bunch of moments that are kind of like yeah, still kind of mind blowing to me to
Dude,
this day
I think as
that
well, you know, to
this
consider
even happened.
someone,
You know.
whether you're a mountain biker, whether you're a road cyclist, you know, wheelie stuff, what you do, to sign with brands like that is can only be
Mm,
positive for the sport in
yeah,
general, right? For two wheels in general. I
yeah,
think that's insane. And again, something I really want to get into, but gonna keep rewinding. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to.
yeah. No, of course.
I
No, no,
really,
no, of course.
majorly, you know, I want to know. A lot of what you do is tied to crime, knife crime. So
Mm,
when did this all become apparent? When did you take the bike and start using that as a tool to stay out of trouble? And ultimately, what have been some of your experiences, especially younger, of knife crime and stuff like that?
mm,
Because I think that's really the crux of what's super interesting to me is how you've built all this out of something really negative, knife crime. You know?
yeah. So I guess yeah, growing up in London from quite an early age, like as soon as you go into secondary school, for some people even before that, it's like you start hearing about, oh, someone got
Yeah,
stabbed here, this person got stabbed, like, and then you start, and then there comes a point when I guess the first person you personally know gets
mm.
stabbed, and then from that point on, it's yeah, it's something you not get used to hearing, but like you hear
Yeah,
it, it's something common. Friends who know someone who got like it's something you hear about a lot, and especially 2, 3 years ago, it was like yeah, some of the worst it's ever been in London, some of the highest rates of knife crime, and or at least for the past 20
Wow.
years or whatever. So it was really apparent to us, um, that we saw the power of the ride outs where we're seeing all these young people from all these different postcodes come together
Mm.
in one place. And it's like my best mate, he's been stabbed, he's coming to the ride out. There's probably 30, 40, 50 other young people who have been stabbed who are on these rides, but mixing with completely the opposite kind of person, like child, like just two completely different
Yeah.
young people, but they're in the same place together, laughing, filming each other, riding, getting food together, and there's no other politics, there's no
Yeah.
other stress going on. If they're there because they love to ride the bikes and they're together. So it's, I guess, as we started to really see that and the power of bikes, that it can bring these young people together who've never met each other and they could have the best
Mm.
day of their life.
Mm.
It was like we then really wanted to push that message, show, I guess, the public why it's such a positive thing for
Yeah.
young people to do. I guess we wanted to also do it for the young people to try and encourage them to join this community and be a part of a scene that is very inclusive and that isn't going to judge you from the past. It's like, we don't care what you look like, how old you are, boy, girl, what you've done last year. If you're here on the bike and you're here for the right reasons,
Yeah. It's all,
then let's
yeah,
go
yeah,
ride,
yeah.
So it's that was kind of like a real strong message in the scene for a good few years, was the whole bikes up, knives down. It was a real
Mm-hmm.
strong message. I think now where the scene has got so big, it's just more about creating such a positive vibe and a positive mentality for these young people in the scene, and that will itself naturally encourage more and more young people to join the scene and kind of get out of their areas where they're at risk and come and ride with a
Yeah.
bunch of people who are going to look out for
I
you,
don't know
So
London too well, to be honest. I've visited a few
mm,
times. Look, man, I'll be real with you. I don't really like the place. I'll be honest.
that's cool. Listen,
Look,
that is fine.
I live
I
up
love
north
it.
up here, and I'm a countryside
Yeah,
guy, right? And the city gives me
yeah,
anxiety. It's too busy. There's too many people around. But my experience of London is you've got certain boroughs and certain areas which are significantly worse than other areas, and
mm,
that's like you were saying about kids from different backgrounds. You could end up with a young guy there who's had a friend who's been stabbed or whatever, and then you've got a young guy there who has zero idea about any of this stuff, lives in probably quite a privileged
yeah.
area of London. you know
Yeah, like, or even from
yeah.
outside of London, like Essex. A lot of kids come down from
Mm.
Essex to ride in London, or Romford, or Hornchurch. All these other places that,
Yeah.
yeah, completely different backgrounds.
Yeah. So, what was some of your earliest, again, like experiences with this? I know I read in an interview you had like a friend or a friend of a friend who was
Yeah.
stabbed and stuff.
Now, early on, it was like, yeah, my best mate, his older brother, um, was murdered by knives. And then also, yeah, like on from that, I had two best mates 1 year after the other. Both two best mates who got stabbed. Luckily, they survived and they're good today and they're healthy and they're on a good track. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was something that, I guess, those moments there, like, it really hits home. Like, all right, cool, keep your head on the right path. Now, if that can happen to your best mate, it's like,
Mm.
you gotta make sure you're on the straight and narrow, and it's like a real situation of like, shit. If I make mistakes and I go down the wrong path,
Yeah.
that's where
Were they? And this is
it could end
probably a
up.
silly, might be a silly question, but I think a lot of people might be wondering. Okay, these guys have been stabbed. It's awful.
Mm,
Were
yeah.
they on the wrong path? Like, were they doing stuff they shouldn't have done, which involves
But
knife crime, or is it like out of the blue?
no, it wouldn't. It's not like they're out here with knives fighting people with knives. No, it's not like some medieval shit. It's it's just like, you get up to things in London. There's so many negative distractions. It's easy to get drawn into something negative in London, and there's so many avenues and so many people that are gonna try and encourage and bring you down and get
Mm.
you involved. So it's like, as a young person, it can be very easy to be influenced to go down the wrong path, or something. You may not even feel like it's the wrong path or believe it's the wrong path at the time,
Yeah.
because you're young and naive and you don't know, and then a situation happens. Or it could be as real as you look like someone and you shouldn't be in that, like,
Wrong place,
do you
wrong
know what I
time
mean?
sort of
Wrong
thing.
place, wrong time. Do you know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
there's so, like, you can look at young people who have been stabbed and be like, oh, well, they must have got stabbed because they've stabbed someone, or they were doing this, or they robbed this, like, but really and truly, there's a million and one reasons why someone could get stabbed or could end up in the situation of getting stabbed. They could
Yeah.
be helping someone in the most positive way. So it's like, whenever, yeah, it's
So it's
like
not like as black and
people can
white
be
as
on the
they were
wrong.
doing
No,
something
it's not
wrong.
as
Yeah,
no, it's not as easy as
all
that.
these
And
factors.
there's always factors, and there's always two sides to a story, you know. And I just believe, like, young people that have been involved in knife crime, of course, you know, if you've been in it, it's wrong, but it's like you can't write young people off, especially in a city like this where it's so enticing to
Yeah,
be on the wrong path. You know, it's
yeah,
like you can't write them off. It's give them an opportunity, come out on the bikes, and you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
understand and and like to show these young. But I think it's more important that we show these young people the positive path and get them on it with us. You know, instead
Mm,
of just looking at them like, oh no, they did something wrong one time, and
just writing them off.
yeah, no, it's not worth it. It's not
Yeah,
worth it.
totally. I
Do
think
you know what
as
I mean?
well, a lot of young people get drawn into the whole car thing, impressing the girl thing. I don't know what it is, but well, there's a lot of factors. Same as why you get involved in it, right?
A
There's like
lot.
so many factors, and I know I was reading an interview with the hang on, I'll come to it. Mac Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, Mac. Yeah, yeah,
Mac, yeah.
yeah.
You know about his past, and that's
Mm.
from what I understand. That is what some kids will follow. It's like, right, I want to
Yeah,
have that car, I want to have that money.
yeah, it can be.
How? Yeah. What's an easy way of getting that? It's doing shit you shouldn't do. It's
Yeah,
getting
literally.
involved in stuff you shouldn't be involved in. But yeah, man, it's really cool that you've taken all those negatives and all of that stuff and created something positive, which is getting kids
Mm.
out riding bikes. I mean, it's
Yeah,
sad.
what's better than that?
Exactly, man. What is
Yeah,
better than that? It's so true. It's so true. It's just it's a very unique way of riding bikes,
yeah,
which is really cool.
yeah.
But I guess again, that's your environment. It's it's what you've got, and you work with it.
Yeah,
So
made the best out of what we've got around us, and
yeah.
now, yeah, it's crazy. Now it's creating lifelong opportunities for young people. Like,
How what are some of those opportunities you've seen as well? Then, so you started this sort of movement, you got involved in the movement,
mm,
however which way you want to look at it. You said you've seen your group rides go from 6 people to multiple thousands at these events.
mm.
You must have heard some amazing stories from kids that maybe were on the wrong path that have got involved in this, which is really cool. But yeah, how are you like seeing the whole thing develop? You know,
Yeah, so I guess, like, we really built the scene of trying to bring everyone together and all that. But now it's like the attraction it has online, the views that people are getting on for clips now. Kids are going viral with their bike tricks. And it's like it's really creating this pathway into becoming a professional rider for a lot of young people. And
mm,
we're in a time where social media, we our scene kind of blew up as social media's blown up, in the
right?
sense of Instagram and all these clips and how easy it is to share what you're doing. It's like our scene kind of grew with social media, I believe. So it's like now it's like my mate, little Harry, he's 19. He's got 750,000 subscribers on YouTube or something. He's got his own car. He's got a signature bike coming out. So he's like on a great path. He's 19 years old and has worked for it, and
Yeah,
there's something that he's been able to achieve. There's other young people are starting their own brands now, trying to sell clothing and gloves. You got young people who are going into down the media route in the scene, who are buying cameras and charging for videos, and
mm,
working with companies now and getting sent products to shoot videos with. So it's like there's becoming more and more avenues for young people to actually get work, and
yeah.
or kind of help it become work and get a bit of a revenue stream from riding.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, which is something I never really expected, I guess.
Right?
I always thought it was possible
Yep.
because I dream big, but like, I don't know, there was nothing before,
No, it's all new, right?
so it's like
Yeah, it's all
there
new.
was
It's
nothing
all
to
new.
kind of work off of.
I feel
Like,
like if you'd
yeah,
have, you just gone down the BMX route, it's like though those paths are carved, there is probably a way of, you know, making it within BMX, whether you go down comp route or just being a street rider. It's probably more like accepted that people know, like, BMX is an Olympic sport. It's, you know, it's established, whereas this is all new. So you guys are just
completely
carving this thing out. So it's really cool to see, like you say, young kids being given opportunities, whether it's not even riding the bikes, it's, you know, it's filming, it's social media work, it's whatever it could be. So that's really cool, man, and endless opportunities as well. You know, whichever ways these kids want to go down it, brands, whatever. Literally. Yeah, it's really cool. I think you know, we've touched a little bit on sort of like the riding and stuff. Now, again, I'll be honest, I love wheelies, all over it. But like, if you could explain to someone who's never seen this before, what is it like? What is this style of riding?
Do you know what it is? This question is mad, and people ask me like, oh, "What's your scene called?" Like, because you got BMX, you got like. I'll be honest, it's still like, okay, the scene isn't that, like, to me. I've been doing this stuff for like 7-8 years, but to me, it's like I still don't really know. We kind of just go with the flow. Like, to someone who hasn't seen any of my videos or whatever, I would kind of just be like, it's like freestyle wheelies through the streets.
Yeah. It's kind of like it is a mix of everything, right?
Because it's freestyle wheeling, really.
Yeah.
But like, we go to stair sets sometimes. I've started doing more flatland tricks recently, 180s, full cabs, all these tricks, trying to incorporate that into my wheelie and kind of mixing that stuff. So it's like, we do more than just wheeling, but like, the easiest way to describe it, I would be like, it is freestyle wheeling, really.
Yeah. And there seems to be like different elements of that as well. You've got like the riding through the streets, doing that, and then you've got the sort of bit, like you said, more flatland stuff. You know, I watched your circus video a while ago, which I've just remembered now. But even that, you know, you're taking components off bikes and doing wheelies and stuff. There's so many different elements of it, which is really interesting. So it'd be cool to.
But yeah, I guess freestyle wheeling, I think that's the best way, because it's like, you just freestyle. You got a wheelie, and then we freestyle with it. We do tricks, we do combos, we take things off, we wheelie downstairs, wheelie through corridors, like just freestyle with it.
Sick.
Just go with the flow.
So this is another question that I think you probably get asked quite a lot. So if I, like, for example, I showed my mum one of your clips, all right?
Yeah, go on.
And it's you and the boys. You know, let's be honest, no helmets. Sometimes, not all the time. I know. You wear one, but some of the guys maybe don't, right? You're swerving in and out of cars. It could look negative from the outside looking in.
Of course.
Right?
So what do you think my mum thought when she first saw it? She did not like
What did she say?
Of course not. I don't know. I think she saw a clip on. I can't remember. I think the first time, someone showed her a clip on my Instagram. Yeah. Like, she didn't really know. She knew I'd go out on bikes and ride, and probably pull wheelies, but she didn't really know, like, to what extent. Yeah. And yeah, of course, we got the old mum talk and a little bit of a grilling and stuff, like you. But it was like, yeah, I think it can be seen as negative, 100%. But it's like, I don't know. You could look at this particular food and the wrapping and stuff makes it look shit, but you open it up, it could be the best thing you've ever tasted. So it's like, I'm just a big believer of not judging a book by its cover. And I understand the riding, of course, somewhat controversial.
Yeah,
I'll be the first to say it. I'm not oblivious to that. But in life, innit, you kind of...
That's what makes it unique as well, though. You know, maybe that's what makes it unique as well.
And yeah, it's a bit hairy. And I guess, look, there's a danger element. But I think if you dive deeper into the scene, the reasons why people are doing it, the fact that when you're wheeling, it means you're fully focused on the road and everything's going on around you, compared to the thing I say and believe a lot is, I see these commuters, all these guys who ride after work and stuff, who are stressed, angry, long day at work, got a lot of messages or emails, and they're looking at their phone whilst riding, or they're stressed and they're not concentrated. They're way more likely, in my eyes, to kind of, or there's a greater chance, I believe, of people like that to cause an accident, and they're less skilled at the end of the day. These kids are out here training for hours and hours in a car park before they go onto the roads and do their tricks. So it's like, yeah, mistakes can happen, but people crash cars, carve into car. A bike crashes on the road.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
think I'm quite a believer of not worrying too much in life. You just gotta
I mean,
do
dude.
what you do. As long as you're not harming anyone,
Yeah.
you do your thing. If you make a mistake, own up to it, take responsibility. But listen, we're all just trying to have a good life and do what we love, you know?
Man, I'm with you. I'll be honest. I am with you. Everything's dangerous to an extent, right? Walking out your front door is
Yeah.
dangerous. Um, I think if as long as it's sort of somewhat calculated and, like you say, you've practiced and you know
Yeah.
what's going on. Uh,
Yeah. And there's certain things, I'll be honest, swerving through cars, do your thing. But it's like, even in the scene, as someone who's, I guess, seen as one of the faces of the scene or whatever, or with a voice in the scene, and a lot of the bigger riders and a lot of the older, it's like the kids who swerve oncoming cars. It's like that is a big no in the scene.
really?
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, if I see that in front of me, I'm telling the kids, don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be riding like that. It's just not, because it's just not worth it. You're adding. It's like we're already riding on the roads and doing our thing, but that's just adding that extra element of risk. I don't believe it's worth it, and I believe at that situation, a driver can go left or right. You never know which way they're gonna
Hell
go.
yeah. Yeah. 100%,
There's
man.
certain elements to that, and it's just, look, if you crash doing that, is it worth it? You weren't getting paid. You weren't doing this. No one's gonna think you're that cool. Like,
No.
it's just not
No.
worth it.
No, it's not.
So it's like there's a level that I believe that we try and kind of say in the scene. Obviously, I'm not everybody's dad, and I'm not going to tell people what they can or can't do, but I can only encourage and kind of try and show the positive way of riding. Like, if we do go through a red light, if there's people crossing, always go around the back of them, don't cut them in front. Like, there's little things that we kind of
Yeah.
try and implement to be as respectful as we can whilst doing what we do, So,
Understood. Yeah. Sort of like unwritten
and
laws
that,
almost as well. People. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and kids are gonna break them. Kids are still gonna swerve an oncoming car, but it's it's like every sport. You can pick a skateboarder and say he shouldn't do this, but he's still gonna go and do
Mm.
it. He's still gonna get in a fight, or he's still gonna smash. Like,
Yeah.
it's just life, isn't it? Like, kids are gonna be
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, dude, for sure. And it's just interesting to throw that out there at you. And no doubt you get asked it all the time, but it is interesting to hear what your view on that is, and it's cool to hear that there are these unwritten laws. There are these things that you guys are mindful of. It's not just go out there and raise hell, doing wheelies everywhere. There must have been, obviously you seem like a really switched on guy. You've got a brand behind you now as well. You've got corporate companies supporting you. So there must be times when you've maybe seen something and you do have to be that guy. Like you are, like you said, you are one of the faces of the scene. Like you're the guy that does need to step up and be like, look, this shit's not cool. Or, you must have seen,
Yeah.
I don't know, there must be kids who hit cars quite often, right? It must happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens, but I don't like. It's really not as often as everyone thinks. I believe
Okay.
in it, but like, of course,
Yeah.
it happens. Like, but to be honest, the funny thing, I've hit a car before, but never when I was wheeling.
Right.
Never when
Right.
wheeling. But I've gone into a car when I'm like cruising and I'm
Not
not
paying attention.
kind of a bit distracted, probably looking at the food over there on my phone or something. Like, I'm like, so yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
It's interesting to think about. I don't know. It is what it is. What's the relationship been like with with police and stuff like that? Has that changed over the years? Has this scene's got bigger? Has it
Yeah.
really? That's cool.
Yeah, it's changed. It's good. Like, it's pretty sweet now, to be honest. It's back in the day when we first doing what we're doing, it was like yeah, people hadn't really seen it. A group of 6 to 10 kids all in tracksuits flying through the streets. It's You've never heard of it, you've never seen it. They're probably looking at us. Do you know? To be honest, wheeling was never really an issue for the police. But back in the day, when they saw a group of us all riding, they automatically thought we were thieves or something. Do you know
Really?
the amount of times? We'd get stopped back in the day, or police would like run up on us or whatever. Yeah, this is probably like 5, 6 years ago. It would always be, oh, we had a report of phones being stolen, or we had a report of a snatch and grab, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, guys on a Santander bike, and we're like, show us where the Santander bike is. No, and they're just like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I guess as the years gone on and police have attended the rides, they've seen so many kids wheeling that it's just not even worth it to try and
Yeah.
say, oh,
You think they
riding
understand it a
recklessly
little bit
with
more
this.
than they understand what it's all
100%.
about? Yeah. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And they like the police will come. Like I've seen kids get stopped for riding recklessly, and the police are there. Like, look, we'd rather you be out on the bike than whatever you could be doing in your local area. Like, we don't care. Just ride a bit safer, or don't ride on the sidewalk, or
Mm.
whatever. Like, just little. But like the police are cool. It's like if we go through red lights in front of them, it's like they understand as long as we're looking and making sure there's no cars, it's not a problem. So it's like I think they've really got a better understanding of it now, and they also see the positive sides of it, and they probably work or deal with young people who they've seen in police stations and this, but now they see them on their bike with other
Okay.
people filming videos, creating a brand and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like how like you can't. There's not really much to hate on or kind of have a problem with, you
True.
know.
Yeah,
And it's like
definitely.
we
And
aren't hurting
has
anyone.
there been I know it's really hard to like measure this, I guess, but is there been a
Mm.
drop in knife crime since all this stuff with young
I think
kids?
that there's been a drop in knife crime, I believe, um since it was really bad. Like it's gone back down a bit.
Okay.
Obviously, you can't single-handedly put it down
Yeah.
to bike life,
Yeah. It's hard
but
to
I think
measure.
there was a bunch of things like stuff, even like the lockdown last year. There was it meant less people were getting stabbed,
Yeah.
um and I feel like after those years where this like the levels of knife crime were really high. I think after those years, there's quite a lot of initiatives in London, boxing initiatives,
Right.
football initiatives, riding initiatives that are all trying to kind of attract different young people because if it was only bikes, a lot of kids don't actually like riding bikes. So it's like
Yeah.
then they have
Dude,
nothing else to
it's
do. But there's
scary,
a lot
really,
of
isn't it? When you
initiatives now.
think about it, like it's slightly connected, but not. So I'm just going through this whole thing with my local council right now, trying to
Mm,
get a BMX track. So where I live,
mm,
I'm like on the pretty much the outskirts of the Peak District. So we've got tons of mountain
okay.
biking just over the hill.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's the town which is sort of like next to me called Dromfield. It's a pretty affluent town, you know, but
Mm,
there is nothing for young people to do. Like nothing.
yeah.
There used to be a BMX track. The council flattened it.
No.
And then when you actually look at the town and it's like, right, okay, you've got, all of the schools are excellent. So you get loads of people moving there trying to, get kids into school and stuff like that. But then you look at it and you go like, well, what are these kids going to do? There is nothing for them at all. So at the
Mm,
moment, I'm just going through this thing of trying to get a BMX track sorted. And you speak to counsellors and stuff like that, and they're so disconnected. They're just like, well, kids will play football. It's like, yeah, but not every kid likes football.
likes football.
Yeah, not every
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
It's like, oh, we're going to give, X amount of free membership to a golf course. It's like, yeah, but again, not every kid likes golf.
What kid likes golf
Yeah,
like that?
who
Like
likes
one
golf
in a
anyway? Like,
100,000.
mate, I've got issues
Yeah,
with golf. We'll not go down that route.
yeah.
I've got my issues with golfers. But it's, you look at it and stuff like what you're doing, action sports are hot right now. They are hot for
Yeah.
kids. They want to get into
Highest.
BMX and skating and stuff like that, but we're not actually giving them any ways of doing it really. Yeah, there's certain
Mm.
places and stuff like that are. I understand that there are plenty of stuff, but again, I just relate that to my local sort of town really, and more so that you've got this epidemic of social media and kids doing spending loads of time on the phones and stuff, and ultimately a lot of it's not very positive. I think most of it's
Mm.
negative, to be fair. They're sat on the phone, they're
Yeah.
not hanging out with friends anymore because I know there's been a global pandemic and stuff like that, but you know kids are just spending more time indoors. Anything we can do to get
Yeah.
them outdoors, for me personally, whether it is riding on the streets, as long as they're like smart, like I think it's
Yeah.
only a good thing, and I think
100%.
that ties in quite nicely with the knife crime thing as well, because you're stopping kids from doing that negative thing, but also attached to that is all these other negative things that kids get dragged into. They do get dragged
Yeah.
into being at home on the phone playing Xbox, and I know you can argue that there's a future in playing video games. I appreciate that. Like, there's a big
Yeah, you
future in
can
that,
now,
right? You
innit?
can't, that argument of like, what my mum used to use on me, oh, you'll never get
Yeah, you
anywhere doing
can't use
that.
it anymore.
Forget that. There is,
Yeah.
I appreciate that there, it can be done, but ultimately kids need fresh air. They need to be outdoors, running around, movement, stuff like that. So I think anything
Yeah.
like that promotes it is only a good thing. But yeah, it's interesting to think, isn't it, about, for me, like being a kid now, and you must, sort of deal with a lot of younger people that are getting drawn into all this sort of stuff, and you got to give them opportunities. There's got to be things for them to do. There's got to be ways to express themselves, other than social media and Facebook and whatever it is else that they do, PlayStations and shit.
100%.
So, yeah, it'd be interesting though to sort of keep going down that route and see. I don't know, just try and get more kids on bikes.
It'll be sick because I heard about in Scotland, in Glasgow somewhere. There was an area with real high knife crime.
Okay.
And they I'm pretty sure it was Glasgow, and they ended up building this BMX track, and it's like got a bit of a mountain bikey trails thing nearby, and apparently 1 year on from that track, the knife crime
really
shut down. Yeah, in that town, because you can kind of see the effect of it because it's more concentrated there, like the figures. But yeah, like the figures shut down.
Give kids stuff to do. You'd like to think that they're going to do it, right? They're gonna channel their energy someplace else, and it doesn't,
100%.
doesn't have to be negative stuff, not by a long shot. So, like you said earlier, it's like, giving these young kids an opportunity, just giving them a chance. Not every kid is bad, basically. Is what that's the sort of way that I'd say.
Most of them aren't.
They
make bad mistakes and bad decisions, but if you put them in the right environment, surrounded by the right people, anybody can be good and anybody can be bad, I believe.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's just about trying to push them to be good.
I'm interested again, like in the aspects of the riding and what you guys do now. I'm going to give this Swerve thing a go, right? I think that's going to be my challenge. I'm going to do some social media stuff about trying to learn to do a few of these swerves. But I want you to break it down, man. Like, what do I do? How do you swerve?
The swerves? Yeah. Whew. You just got to... All right. You want to practice it on concrete, probably with like a cone or something. Car park's probably the best place. Mountain bike tires, not a good idea.
Really? Okay.
Not a good idea. Because you're then going onto the tread on the edge, and it's like if you really want to do a nice smooth swerve, you can't a slick tire is very much ideal for that. But the pros, any tips? What tips have I got? A tip, a good one, which I teach people who are leaning to swerve. If you're riding your bike, no hands. Basically trying to do a slalom with no hands because you're literally using your hips and your bum basically to kind of swerve the bike like that, and then that same movement of you shifting your weight left and right to turn the bike with no hands is the same sort of movement you want to add in when you're leaning on the swerve. Okay. So it's like you want to go lean for the swerve, but a lot of it's in your hips. Is the weight distribution to lean the bike. It's a similar in a sense of when you're the super bike riders on the track, when they lean the corner, they got to lean into the corner. It's like you lean into the swerve, but it's not about turning the bars. Right. It's about leaning with the hips and your shoulder.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I'll keep you updated, man, on my progression.
The swerves is a good one. The swerves is alright. And once you're able to swerve, the game is.
Is it really? Yeah. It's on.
Yeah. Swerves and manuals is my two favorite things to do. Yeah. That's pretty much what I do most days. I forget about tricks a lot of the time because I just do manuals and swerves because it's just the best two feeling. Going down the hill, doing a manual and swerving on the manual. Whew.
That's the dream right there, isn't it? That's the ticket.
That's top notch.
That's the ticket.
That's incredible.
All right.
Yeah, that is
I'm going to get on it. Is it again, I'm not a huge, I don't come to London too often. Is there hills to bomb in London?
Oh,
is there? Yeah.
A couple. Not like the hills you'd find in the countryside, but you can go to Ali Pali, which is a sick hill to bomb. That's a sick one. Ali Pali is a sick one. Muswell Hill. North London and South London has some sick hills to bomb. Crystal Palace in South London. Okay. Crystal Palace is, you go up to the top and there's 6 different roads down from the top, all hill bombs. One of them curvy, one of them straight and long, one steep. So it's quite
That's
cool. But hill bombing is it's my favorite.
Mate, there's no better feeling than
aspect.
In general,
yeah.
just cruising down a hill. I think if you've ever, again, we said it before, but whenever I'm having a pretty bad day, going out for a ride and just cruising down a hill is the best, whether you pull in manuals or not, but just taking your hands off the bars and just being like, it's the
Floating.
best.
Yeah, it is the best. Yeah, hill bombs is definitely my favorite thing to do on my bike, which is sad because I'm not in the best place for it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be doing a trip to like the Alps or something and go and make a hill bomb video this year. Go break 50 miles an hour on a manual and stuff. Do all of that stuff this year.
Okay, that's funny because I've literally just been doing the same thing. That's hilarious. I did a video recently because I'm on it. I've got an e-bike as well, which has got a little speedo on it, right?
Shit.
And I was manualing down the hill to get some trails, and I hit like 48, and I was like, "Oh my god, that felt really fast." But the only problem is, the GoPro doesn't pick it up; it just flickers. So I have no evidence really, other than you have to just trust me that you can hear that it's like pretty fast. I've got to figure it out and try and get it like so you can film the speedo as well and see like how fast it's actually going. But 50 mile an hour hill bombs. Pretty. In fact, I'm trying to actually do it. I'm lying to you because I just thought that my e-bike's in kilometers an hour, so it's more like 30 something mile an hour, right?
Yeah. Because I did. I went to Southern California. I did a couple years ago for the launch of my signature bike. I went and shot a film in London, Los Angeles, and Dubai.
Oh, wow.
For the launch of the bike. Yeah, it was a sick one. But as the final clip was a hill bomb that I found in Southern California, near Lake Elsinore.
Right.
And that hill I hit. I couldn't check how fast I went at the time because it was the GoPro speedometer, but the GoPro speedometer said 48 or 49 miles an hour on that hill, and I was like, shit. I need to do like 60 or something, like 50, 60, but like that at that point I was like, fuck. Like fast. This is, and that was like a no foot manual. Yeah, so I'm like sitting up, no feet on the pedals, manual.
Is that easier, do you reckon, for like not speed control, but just bike control, taking your feet off? Just like for that like center of balance, and all.
I don't know. I'm like a no foot manual pro. Okay. Like that is like my trick. Like the riders in America, when other riders do that trick, like they'll be like, oh, he's doing the Jake100.
Amazing.
Because it's like my kind of like signature thing. Because it's like I will just sit there and go until my bike isn't rolling anymore, just manual.
Wow.
Yeah, like it will just stay up, and it's like because you use the legs to balance. So yeah, it's quite. To me, I would say it's easy, but like yeah, it is quite. It's a simple trick, but I've just tried to. I love it so much, so I just perfected it. You know.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a manual world record. There must be. I wonder how fast that is.
There is, but like...
I feel like this is yours, dude.
Don't even get me into this, no, because it pissed me off when I looked this up, yeah?
Why?
Some dude does this world record, like, I've searched the world record manual, like, the fastest. Dude's, like, made some full-on converted custom speed bike thing, and then he's, like, in the salt flats or something, and he's, like, massive gear ratio, like, huge, like... And he goes behind a van with like the door, like, you know, like the pulley up door. He's like underneath it, behind a van, slipstreaming it, like on it till he gets to like 80 miles an hour or something. Like, okay, fair play. It's still fast. But like, yeah, like, but come on, like you're using a van, you're slipstreaming. And then the world record is based on the distance that you manual. You have to manual a certain distance. So when you're going 80 miles an hour, that certain distance is you only have to manual for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So the dude does like a 2-3 second manual and he's broken world record. I'm like, oh
man, there's got to be one that's like natural, just like hill
unassisted.
Unassisted.
Like hill bomb, fastest hill bomb manual. But all that Guinness World Records, I heard it costs like 10 grand to get the person out and stuff. Yeah. Fuck that! I'd rather just put it on YouTube.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there is a way around
YouTube
it.
World record.
You can do it that way, I think. Because we've just
film it, and then they can't tell me it's not the world record after that.
I'm pretty sure you can do it that way, and they can verify it. Because, dude, you know, we were just talking about the Freedom Ride thing that we're doing. So we were going to try and break the world record for the amount of people on one trail at the same time, right?
No way. I was talking about this yesterday with someone.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, we need like 40 people on a trail at once.
Yeah, so
Like,
so we've got 150 riders. It's like, right, 150 people all ride the same trail at the same time, like the longest train at a bike park. So I was like looking into it, and like you said, it's £10,500 for them to come out and verify it.
Yeah, fuck that.
But there is a way around it where you can video it and like have an adjudicator there who can just sort of say, yeah, it's legit.
It's not edited. Yeah.
So there's a way around it. There always is.
Yeah, because I'm gonna. Yeah, there's a different record I'm gonna try to break this year as well.
So, awesome.
Yeah, the no front wheel one.
What, like longest?
Because Fabio Widmar, he's only gone and done like an hour and a half no front wheel. I'm like, shit, he's not even like wheelie's not even his thing like that. But like, why have I not even timed myself? Like, I've gone and rode around London without a front wheel for a day. Like,
Really?
just left my house without a front wheel and go ride. Yeah, like I could do that, but I've never like been like, alright, cool. Let's see how long I can go and time it. Like I did, like 3-4 years ago, I did like 25 minutes through central London during traffic and stuff with no front wheel.
You didn't even put the front wheel down at all?
No, I didn't have
No,
it
you
on.
didn't even put the forks down, like nothing. You were just wheeling the whole time.
Oh, no, just wheeling. 25 minutes, I went from
You must
like
have forearms
Square
like
through
fucking...
Chelsea. Yeah, my forearms are beasts still. They are beasts. And then, yeah, Fabio Widmer, he's only gone and done like 1 hour 34 or something. Then this, so I'm like, oh, alright, cool.
I reckon.
That's not cool.
No.
Like, I've got to go and do that now. But then there's this kid in New York who doesn't even own a front wheel.
Really?
Yeah, called Jay Miles. And I chat to him. I'm cool with him. It's like I've hung out with him before, so. But he doesn't own a front wheel. Like, he never has a front. Even when he's going to the corner shop, he's riding without a front wheel.
No way.
So, yeah, like 24/7. So, like, but I know he's gonna go for it soon too.
Okay.
So I don't know whether to wait for him and then try and beat his, or do it and then.
If you both play that game, it's gonna be a
he's...
while. You're just worth waiting for it.
Yeah. Nah, but I know he's gonna go for it soon, so I might just let him do it and then do it a couple of weeks later and try to beat you. But I know he's going to do a good 2-3 hours.
Really? Where's the perfect spot to do that? It's got a... What...
I don't know. We're just going to do it in the city, though. I've said the same thing.
Really?
Fabio, yeah. Like,
that'd make a great film, like one-shot edit as well. That'd be so sick.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. No disrespect to Fabio. He absolutely killed it. And fair play. He's done it before any of us lot. But like his was like, he had this golf buggies. He did it as a big Samsung thing. And he did it on like some country paths, like... Right. Sort of thing, which is sick. Doesn't matter. Doesn't take anything away from it. But I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm doing mine through London, like straight. I'm gonna do it through the streets, like. But I think I might do it like early morning or something, like 5 till 7 or 8 a.m. when it's quiet, sun comes up.
You make an amazing little edit. I said little edit. It'd be quite long, right? But like a one-shot thing. It's so sick.
I wanna do over 2 hours.
Yeah. It's a long time. It's a long time to be wheeling.
Disgustingly long.
Yeah.
I start doubting it when I think about it. I'm like, 2 hours. Oh my God. My arms are going to be done. My arse is going to be the worst. So numb. But you know, you hit with the no front wheel wheelie, it's like you hit this point of pain in your arms and your hands, like they cramp up, the brake hand cramps up. Yeah. And it's like you can rest your hands. I can take my left hand off, wiggle it about right hand, like, cool. Okay. Forearms cool. But your arse,
can't move
game
that.
Over.
Yeah.
It hits to a point of pain, and then luckily the pain doesn't get worse from that point onwards, but it's just constant discomfort from like the 15-20 minute mark is game over. Yeah. And you just gotta try and not think about it, literally.
Yeah. Mate, I'm looking forward to seeing how this progresses. It's
gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I'm excited.
Listen, I've not told anyone online that I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
So this is where everyone's gonna hear it first. But I'm manifesting it because I've been thinking about it recently.
Mate, I'm gonna stay on you as well.
Here. It's gonna
happen.
happen.
It happens. That's amazing. Good vibes.
Yeah.
What makes perfect wheelie bike as well? Because I know you got your Siggy bike. You've got the signature bike that you have, the C100, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, man. What makes... Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah. What makes... Well, what were you riding first? And is that bike, does it make it better, easier? Like, what's the deal with that?
The bike I first started on, the first bike I wheelie was a Savison Tough Tracks,
Oh wow.
27.5, red bike, red and white. It was sick. Um, I had that for a while. That was the first bike I had, and then I moved on. I had Specialized. I had the SE bike. I had a couple other bikes. I had a Mavic for a while at one point. But yeah, then the opportunity came along. Yeah, to design my own mountain bike,
Yeah.
like my own wheelie bike, mountain bike, wheelie bike,
Were these guys doing
whatever.
stuff like that before, or is it?
No, it was a BMX brand.
Right. Wow. Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Which is
They'd
collective, right?
yeah, collected.
Yeah.
They had a BMX called the C1. Then I was like, as a joke, I was like, oh, you should make a C100 BMX, like, and make it my signature one. I don't even ride BMX, but I was like, oh, fuck it, might as well, like, because I kind of knew the guy
Okay.
fairly well, so it was like, it's like just joking. And then like a week or two later, came back and was like, oh, do you want to make a C100 wheelie bike? I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like, it was the first mountain bike design for wheeling,
Wow.
I guess. So, yeah, I kind of found my favorite frame that I'd rode,
Yep.
and I kind of based it off that in a sense, and just designed it to be a bit more aggressive. I really liked the 29er cross country frame that I had.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, cool. So it needs to be a 29er. It needs to be quite big frame, cross country style, but I need it to be a bit more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I need it to be the back end to be a little bit shorter for the manuals. I need the back end to also be a little bit wider as well for certain tricks. So there was a whole load of back and forth then with the design team to kind of really get this geometry, and then they would send out a prototype. I didn't like it, thought it was shit. Went back, changed the colors, changed parts of the frame, took bits off of it, added stuff, and yeah, ended up coming up with the C100, which for me, yeah, is the perfect bike to ride.
Yeah.
Like the perfect geometry. It's aggressive, it's fast, it's the right size for me. So yeah, it's the
And
best.
these things that sell out pretty fast, I'm gonna guess.
Stupid.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane, man.
Like, it's a
really
blessing.
cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. The support with them is crazy. And yeah, like that's something that I'm forever grateful for, is the support of everyone and the demand that there is for these bikes. And it's like, yeah, we get them in and they sell out on the same night.
Wow.
Containers full,
Yeah.
like multiple containers, and they'll sell out super quickly. And then there's this buzz and this demand for them until we get the next batch in, do you know? Because obviously kids are always asking why are they not in stock, and because it's like for these bike companies, they've got to order the bikes like a year ahead or something.
Yeah.
So it's like they've got to predict. So it's like, we'll predict this many bikes, or this is the budget they've got for as many bikes as we can make with the C100. And then literally as soon as a container comes in,
All gone.
yeah, the same night, like, yeah,
That's
they'll fly
insane,
off.
man. That's really cool.
And then they won't be in stock. Then they won't be in stock for a month or two, and then boom, another couple containers come.
Are you having issues at the moment? Because at the moment,
At the moment, it's
no
terrible.
bike brands have got any bikes. So.
Don't even get me started.
It's tough right now.
It's mad.
It's really hard.
It's bad. But even the parts, like, obviously, the pro version of my bike, it comes with rock shocks, it comes with Z cranks, like Holotech, it all comes, and it's 850 quid. Like, it comes real affordable. Wow. It comes all sealed bearings, sealed headset, sealed disc, the right parts. So it's like all Shimano parts and stuff. So, but now it's like there's just certain things. It's just certain companies, certain parts to get for the bikes and stuff. I'm just hearing like boss is calling up. He's like, might not be able to get this next year. Well,
I know he needs.
What do you want as a replacement? It's like, if we get this, we're gonna have to increase the price. If we get this one, the quality then goes down. And so it's like right now,
It's crazy, man. Honestly,
it's
insane. It is insane at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will understand this, you know, especially that listen to the podcast, that bike brands just don't have bikes. I mean, I ride for Focus, and there's like nothing. It just doesn't. They don't have it. I mean, ultimately, some of the retailers have it, but the bike brands themselves are just selling out. And Collective, obviously, is direct to consumer, so as soon as they come in, gone. So it's crazy at the moment, man. But it's so cool to hear that you've got that thing dialed. Like, you've got, you know, the brand power within yourself to be able to sell bikes out, and also that again, we spoke earlier about like the barrier of entry. So for the pro model was £850. That's good, man, innit? Like,
that's the pro model.
To get into the sport, that's.
And we got a cheaper version as well. The stock C100. That's £550.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good.
550, and then it's still like, it's still good to go.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
But yeah, there's just little upgrade that it does make it worth to get the pro, and the paint job's a bit cooler and stuff. But I'm very aware of the young people. Obviously, it's that balance of like trying to make a bike affordable for the target audience, but not too shit for the target audience. It's got to be of a certain quality, because otherwise it's pointless.
And you're putting your brand to it as well. So
yeah, it's got my name on it, so it's like, we worked really hard to try and find that balance, and I think we did a very good job at finding that, hitting that point of, all right, this is not too expensive, but it's still got the good enough parts.
That's good. The barrier to entry is low. That's the main thing, isn't it? And kids, I guess, ride other bikes even if they don't have the C100. Is there other brands making wheelie bikes, or is?
Yeah, there's other brands out there like SE play a big part of the game. But it's a different style of bike to the C100. Okay. They're a lot more about the big BMX, the cruiser style bikes with stump pegs for a certain type of trick. And out in America, they dominate the market out in America.
Right.
Like SE is like, they're big out there, but it's an American brand. It's gonna be, compared to out here, where I'll probably say Collective is the dominant one out here. Then you got other brands like Mafia, Throne, GT touched on it. I see Radio Bikes, the BMX brand. They tried to make a wheelie bike. I don't think it really took off though. And other brands are starting to.
Yeah, I feel like Win should have his own wheelie Wednesday bike or something.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, Win. I rode with him the other day.
He's cool. I know. To be honest, I hit Win up first. Before I messaged you, I was like, "What's Jake100 like?" He was like, "Dude, the nicest guy." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna hit him up, see if he'll come on the podcast." And Win was like, "Yeah, he's honestly like, you should 100% do that." So, he is a good dude, man. I've got to know Win over the last like year or so pretty well. To be honest, it helped him set up his own podcast. And whatnot, and then he's been on mine a few times, and this, that, and the other. But and he's moved to the UK now, which is sick. So he's a good dude, really, really good dude. So like we spoke a little bit about the sport, I guess, and you know some of the elements of it. But where do you think it's going? I know that's quite a big question, but like I'm interested in, you know, does it become? How do you put it? You know, you're a professional, right? Where does it go from here? You know, like what is it? Is it competitions? Do competitions already exist, or? I
guess trying to get it into a more it's a more recognized sport. I guess obviously we got the Off the Street series, which is the race series I was telling you about earlier that I help run and make happen. And there's other brands and stuff now that are starting to touch with the scene. So I guess now it's like I just see the scene growing bigger community wise, like as a scene. It's just continuing to grow, and I don't really see that stopping anytime soon. And then I guess I feel like the racing scene I believe is going to get bigger, especially with the conversations and the meetings I've been having recently, and the brands that are potentially getting on board and stuff. It's like that's only going to get bigger and better, which I believe is very exciting. And then I think, the continued growth of more young people becoming YouTubers in the scene, I guess, like the kids in the bike life scene are very social media savvy. So it's like, they know what they're doing. Like the amount of kids with over 50,000 followers and stuff now is like mental. Because I remember when it was like me and my friend or something. Do you know what I mean? Now there's like 50, 60, 70, 100 kids. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I just see it just growing and growing. I believe, yeah, there will probably be more events. I'm sure we'll see a freestyle trick competition come out at some point. We still got the massive ride outs. And yeah, I guess,
Is there some like flatland
yeah, that's
riders
kind of
moving
where it's
into it as
heading,
well?
man.
Because I feel like that would be the natural
And you
progression a
get,
little bit of some. Because I don't know what I think to flatland. I'll be honest. I don't
it's
really.
not,
I've never really got it, but that's just because it's
yeah,
based in a tennis court most of the time. It's not like out riding
yeah,
around. It's
yeah.
just sort of, a bit more of a I don't know. I don't really know. I couldn't really explain flatland. It's one of those things that I almost forget exists most of the time.
Yeah, it's not. I think you do have different elements in our scene. Like there's certain riders. It's like myself is much more. I'm all of like I'm pretty much focused on style and speed. Whereas you have other kids who may not even be able to do a bunny hop, but they'll do this crazy combo of tricks going down a strip that I wouldn't even know where to start to
Right?
try and do
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like you have these different elements. Then you got like someone like my mate Grady that I ride with a lot. He's not flatland, but he's very good in a skate park and in a car park in a sense. Not these crazy combos on stunt pace. He's much more about spins and taking parts of his bike. He'll sit on his head tube and wheelie sitting on his head
Wow.
tube and stuff, and then yeah, and then like even my best mate, one of the guys I ride with pretty much every day, send it B Rad, the guy I did bike life
Mm,
circus with. Um, he's like super creative.
okay.
He's like coming up with new tricks all the time. What can I do? What can I swap on my bike? What can I add? What can I do? So yeah, I guess there's just a whole bunch of styles that are kind of evolving in their own way, and hopefully you start to see more and more riders of each style picking up because the combo scene is
Yeah.
the most heavily populated. That's what all the kids are
Right.
doing is the
Okay.
combos in a car park, leg crisscrossing legs on pedals and pegs and all this mad stuff. Like that's kind of most popular. But I think once, yeah, you're seeing BMXers jump on
Yeah.
the bikes and start doing wheelie tricks. Like this guy in
Right.
Canada, he's a sick BMXer, massive 720 tail whips, doing big backflips. Jumped on a C100, front flipped it, back flipped it, done backflip to
Wow.
manual, done backflip, and then done a wheelie like to death spin, which is a wheelie
Yeah.
trick. So yeah, I guess all these elements they'll start
Yeah. It
growing and
reminds me
growing
a
as
little
well.
bit of. You aware of Rodney Mullen, the skateboarder?
No,
Okay,
no,
so there's a dude. This is going back years,
yeah, yeah. I'm probably
20
too young.
years. Yeah,
Oh, that's
dude,
almost
20
as old
years.
as me.
Well, there you go. So Rodney Mullen for me, and again, I'm not really a skater or anything. He was the guy
Mm,
who just broke new boundaries to me on a skateboard. You used to watch,
yeah,
Tony Hawk doing half pipe stuff or skate park stuff and whatever. But Rodney Mullen was like a flatland skateboarder,
yeah,
and you watched it, and I was just like, what the fuck? You'd never even think that'd be possible on a skateboard, like sliding along like flipping a skateboard almost sideways and then
yeah.
riding along on top of the deck and dude, some like
I've,
insane
I've
stuff.
probably seen his stuff or someone who's
Yeah.
been inspired by him. I've seen all that crazy
Yeah, but that's kind of
technical
like what I'm
skateboarding.
thinking with your boy. It's like, it's similar to that. It's just like
Mm,
taking this thing and just like using it in ways that you could never even imagine possible.
yeah,
So again, on that
yeah,
circus, on your circus, bike circus, is it called?
yeah. Bike Life Circus.
Bike Life Circus, yeah, where he took
Yeah,
like the bars out. It's just
yeah.
like,
And
dude,
then
like it's
he was doing stem
insane.
spins and he was
Yeah,
bar spinning without the bars.
yeah. Like
Stem
what the
spinning.
hell? If anyone hasn't seen that who's listening, check it out. It was
Oh yeah,
I saw it because it came up on Pink Bike once, and I was like, fuck, this is really cool.
yeah. That was like it was like the hardest edit, but the funnest edit to do because we did it in the first lockdown.
Okay,
And it's literally the location we did it is like 2 minutes from where I live now.
really?
Literally, I can look at it like when my mate pulls up, I can look out my window, and be like, "Yeah, you are there. Let me come now." But like it was basically like our second home for like a month. We was
Wow.
there from 9-10 p.m. every single night until like 3-4 in the morning in this
Wow.
one location. And we never before that we would never just chill in one spot and do tricks. We was always on the move, going
Mm,
here, on the
mm,
roads. So this was like the first project where we really confined ourselves to one space to
yeah.
then be as creative as possible when it comes to the tricks.
Okay.
And yeah, it was like a month and a half worth of night shifts
Shit.
at this train station in East London, and then yeah, was able to produce that, yeah, the Bike Life Circus, which was, yeah,
Incredible. Incredible. You say you're
sick.
always on the move and you like going on the move. Do you go anywhere
Mm.
in particular? Like, do you do anything? Is there like do you hit up food spots? I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah, Wingstop.
Is that what
They
it is? Yeah.
no, they I only say that because they gave me a black card when
Wow.
I did an event. I did a promotional video for them one time, uh, and as part of my payment, got a black card. So it's like, yeah,
Free chicken.
we
Is that what it is?
definitely every day.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's cool.
that's sick. Yeah. And then yeah, no, we sometimes we'll ride to different hills. We might go to a hill in South London or a hill in North London, or we
Mhm.
will ride to a pump track, or sometimes we ride to literally like a car park if it's raining. So it's like we have different kind of spots that we feel like we might go to the Ghetto Skate Park in Hackney. Like that place is sick.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we kind of just
Just
whatever we
cruise
feel
around.
like doing. Some days if we're like, oh, we don't really feel like doing tricks, we'll just literally all of us just go chill in the park somewhere, have a couple drinks, and just whatever. Like, which is probably gonna happen more this summer with the weather
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, we kind of just go with the flow most days. Sometimes we're like, all right, cool, we're gonna go and do a big ride next week. We might ride to Southend, or we might ride to Brighton, or
Okay.
do a nice 60, 70 mile ride. Like we do enjoy doing that. But day to day, unless we have something in particular we want to film,
Mhm.
then we just cruise about and kind of see what we see.
How many of
Yeah.
your friends then are doing the same thing as far as
Um,
being a professional? Because this is your job now. So
as
what
far as
doesn't?
it being a job, I can't. So the scene is that side of the scene. Sorry to cut you off, but that
No.
side of the scene is still fairly new.
Okay.
In the sense like, um, which is growing. Like, uh, the people I'm surrounded by, like, they will get opportunities to make money here and there, but um, only really myself and little Harry are really at the moment like full-time living off of it. You know,
Okay.
he's got his YouTube channel, so he's doing well on YouTube, and that's what his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is like, the deals I've signed, the bike that sells, like that's kind of my form of income.
Got you.
So it's like it's yeah, kind of two different, which is cool because it's like two different journeys that we're showing all these young people. It's like
Yeah.
there's different ways, avenues. He's a bit more reckless on, not reckless online, but a bit more him. This I'm a bit more, brand orientated, a bit more
Yeah.
professional in a sense. So
Yeah.
it's like yeah, those kind of elements there.
Is there any?
Um,
I mean, I'm guessing there's not, but I'm just gonna ask you anyway. Is there any like animosity within the scene that you are the guy that's making a living, where these kids, aren't? If that makes does that make sense?
animosity, is that like jealousy
Yeah,
or
yeah. Is there any
yeah.
jealousy there? Do you think like how do you, and if there is, or if you've had any experiences of it, like how would you and how do you deal with it?
Do you know what it is? I'm sure there is.
Mm,
Like I wouldn't be surprised when, like, especially growing up in London,
yeah,
there's yeah,
yeah,
there's so many different people, so there's gonna be you're gonna be judged in so many different ways. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
One person will look at me and respect that I've been riding for 8 years and I've never, like, every single week consistently put out content or push myself, or do you know what I mean? And
mm,
respect that. Or someone else will look at me and be like, no, this guy, all he does is wheelie. How the fuck, like,
yeah, yeah,
it don't make sense. Why
yeah,
him or whatever? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but I guess with myself, it's like, I don't know. I always try to stay humble. It's like
yeah,
I am who I am. Yeah, I make good money from this, but it's like I know why. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like there's reasons why there's this. I put the work in. I know
It's not
how
luck,
hard I
right?
have to
Yeah,
work off the bike now as well, which no one will ever see ever.
yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, but I guess, yeah, in London, there's probably bits of animosity. I've probably experienced little bits here and there,
mm,
um, and stuff. But it's like I play my part. I've been I'm blessed enough to be in the position I'm in. But it's like I think as long as, especially if you come up in London, surrounded by people who aren't as well off as you or in as good as a position, it's important to play your part and still support
But
everyone the same way I was supported when I was coming up.
but
So
also it
it's
motivates
like
those kids too, man. If they can see that you're doing
100%.
it, and like you say, you're making an income,
Yeah,
you're making a living, you know, to
yeah.
them it's
But
motivating. I don't.
they can now, like these young people can now dream to be a professional bike rider.
Yeah,
Whereas when I started, it was like I couldn't even have the. Of course, I dreamt about it, but it was like really, I was like, my expectation was it was never going to happen because no one had ever. I hadn't. I'm not looking up to anyone that's made money off wheeling or has made a living from wheeling. Like,
yeah,
so these young people now are like,
it can be done.
it's motivating.
Yeah,
If you do it in the right way, you keep your head screwed on, you stay on a positive track, you keep your brand intact, you're really focused and aware of your personal brand and how you're putting yourself out online. It's anything's possible,
yeah.
I believe.
I don't think there's any luck involved either, man. It's not a luck thing, like you say. You're
No.
blessed with it. It's from hard work. It's from, you know,
Yeah.
staying committed to the craft, whatever that craft is. You know, it can be used
Yeah.
across anything, any sport, any activity, any job, and opportunities arise. Like, it's simple as that. Brands recognize what you're doing. Other people recognize what you're doing. It's as simple as just staying in that grind, man. And no doubt it's never been it's not been always been easy, right? There's going to be times where you didn't have any money and you weren't earning any money. So you know.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And it's like when I started off, I was doing shoots and video shoots for people for for free and whatever, and now it's no, it's not coming free. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it's a journey and it's a process,
Yeah.
that whole side of things. And I think for people that don't understand that journey and that process and how you get into a position like myself, is that's the people that kind of would show animosity or be in
Or
a position.
jealousy,
And
yeah.
if I see that and I know that that person doesn't understand why, and I can kind of tell, then I'm not gonna let it affect me.
For
Do you know
sure.
what I mean? It's irrelevant then. It doesn't even. It's not even something I should be thinking like I care about. Do you know what I mean? And coming up, starting like being one of the faces of the scene, it's like when our scene was perceived as being quite negative, I'm there receiving
Yeah,
a lot of
you
that
took it.
negativity.
Yeah.
Like I'm full on like you give cyclists a bad name, you inspire young people to go out and try to kill themselves. You're chavs, you lot of reckless youth, you hooded, yeah, like calling us asbos, and so, I'm just like, do you know what I mean? So it's like I've heard this shit.
Yeah.
It's whatever goes on now. It's like if you have a valid reason, okay, then let's talk about it and discuss, and I can try and better myself. But if you're just hating because
Yeah.
I'm
Because they're
having
naive to
living a
it as
good
well.
life,
Yeah.
then yeah, then
It's a great way of
it's
looking at it, man.
whatever.
It's
I don't
it's
care.
really smart that you've looked at it, that you look at it that way. And I think honestly, it's the only way of looking at it, right? Like, you know, don't
100%.
take anyone else's bullshit. Do you? Seems to be working
Whatever.
so far, right? So just stay in the
Literally,
grind.
literally.
Yeah. So, what are some of these opportunities that have come up for you, man? Like, obviously, I see that you signed with Nike or Nike, however
Yeah.
you say it. I always
Nike. It's actually Nike.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
I've been told. Yeah.
I never know. Okay,
Um,
Nike and a bunch of other stuff have come up. So, talk about some of those opportunities, man, and how you're using those to sort of keep making the scene bigger and you know.
Yeah. So yeah, like opportunity. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to travel quite a lot.
Mhm.
You know, I've rode my bike in San Francisco, Dubai, Barcelona, other places in Europe, New York. Went to America like 3, 4 times. So that is like, yeah, I just love traveling. Like, it's the best. Riding your bike in a new
Yeah.
place is amazing. And then I guess like, yeah, the other opportunities with brands like Nike, Foot Asylum, Collective, and all these other brands I've worked with and are in talk with. It kind of, I guess, brands like Nike and Collective, it really allows me to kind of continue to chase my dreams personally,
Mm.
but also gives me the support and knowledge and the lessons to kind of be able to give back and kind of feed back into the community, feed back into the scene and stuff. It was like Nike gave me a bunch of budget 1 year to kind of put into a community project. I then worked with a charity in Walthamstow, which is one of the highest um, gang crime areas in
Wow.
London. I worked with them and gave them a bunch of budget and helped them buy a load of bike tools and bike stands and help them train up young people. I'd go there, I'd volunteer in a special needs school last year for 6 to 8 weeks. I volunteered there every Thursday to teach young people bike mechanics and stuff. So it's like being, it was like with Nike, it was like I didn't go to them and ask them for money when they wanted to sign me, but I asked them for time,
Okay.
and that was like my biggest thing. It was like, I need time now. It's like I'm working 5, 6 days a week, but if you really want that next level of content and for me to kind of be able to give my time for free in community situations, it's like
Mm.
you're gonna have to help me
Yeah.
have some time. And the only way I'm gonna get time is if I'm not working my 9 to 5, is if you guys basically
Mm.
pay me.
Yeah.
So that was my way around trying to get them to pay me at that point. So
It's
yeah,
cool, man.
that's kind of like the money that I make from the bikes. It's like soon I'm about to do 12 weeks every Friday teaching young people bike mechanics. But it's like I won't ever charge my time for that
Yeah.
stuff because I know I make good enough money off the bikes
Mm.
itself. So it's like that's kind of what I see as my payment to do those
Yeah, for
things.
sure.
I don't go and
For
try and
sure.
make extra money. If there's extra money to pay me, buy some better tools
Mm.
or give the kids a bike or something. Do you know what I mean? That's how I kind of
Yeah.
look at it. It's like I make my money off these companies, but the other stuff
How
is
did the deal with
I
Nike
believe
come
that it's
about?
important.
How did they get in touch
Um,
with you?
it was funny. I got hit up to do uh they went half an hour shoot on a Santander bike, which is like the city bikes, the Boris
Yeah.
bikes, for an internal campaign for a global sports company. I didn't know who it was at the time. They didn't want to tell me, but I remember I realized that it was for Nike. But basically, they were going to use this bit of footage in a meeting.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, no, all right, cool, I'll do it. I remember I got paid £50 for that, and I remember punching myself after, like, you just turned up to a shoot for fifty
For
pounds.
Nike.
You should be charging more. But then I'm like, yeah, for Nike. But I'm like, but at that time, I was like, I'm not turning something down from Nike right now. Fuck that. Like, I'm getting in there. I'm shouting my name out. I'm putting on a show.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's internal. It's not going anywhere. So I'm not charging. I'm not gonna charge thousands because it's gonna go online and be an advert. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. You're gonna use it in a meeting, 50 quid. Fuck it. If I can shout my name out, it's worth it. You know. And then yeah, did this little thing. 3, 4 months down the line, never heard anything. For they don't care. And then next thing you know, they're like, oh, we want you to be in um this year's advert, like Nike advert, like the main one, which was the Londoner
Okay.
advert. And then yeah, basically got paid pretty nicely from that and used all the money to fly to New York and then to California on my own
Really?
straight
Right.
away. Yeah, I just used pretty much the whole budget, blew it on this trip. I was just like, no, I'm going. I went there. I was like 18, I think, at the
Okay.
time, maybe 19, and just blew this whole budget. And then when I was out there, funnily enough, a cycling brand who makes cycling clothing hit me up. Um, but like they kind of focus on lycra
Okay.
clothing, which is a bit weird. It's not my sort of
I don't
brand.
think
I
it fits the
kind of told
image.
no,
So,
but I signed something with Nike to say I'm not gonna go and do any other campaigns for any other clothing brands for 9 months whilst the advert's
right.
out because they don't want my face in this one and a
Yeah.
competing brand. So I've signed that and then so I've told Nike I'm like, oh, this brand I don't think it's competing, but I just thought I'd let you guys know, just double check because obviously they're offering me some good
Mm.
money. And then Nike were like, look, it don't fit your brand, this and that. It's not technically you could do it, but when you come back to London, let's talk about making you exclusive to the brand so you don't even have to worry about that stuff. It's like you don't even have to worry about X amount of money from this brand because you're comfortable through
Mm.
us,
Yeah.
And then that's where the meeting had place where I'm like, look, really and truly, I need time. Because at that time, I was working in a bike shop, Paradise
Okay.
Cycles, in East London. I was working there, quit college at 16, worked there for 2.5 years. Then Nike bought me out of that
Right.
contract.
Oh wow. Wow.
Now I'm just
Yeah.
riding. So that was my point where I was telling them, look, I need time. Right now, I'm working
Yeah.
7, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I need to be able to ride my bike for a lot of that time and get better and progress and do charity projects and communities and turn up to this and that.
Mm.
So that was kind of how the whole deal worked
Has
out
your
with
role
them.
changed at Nike now, or is it still the same as far as I know?
I'm not even technically. I'm not even signed to Nike now. I'm now signed to Foot Asylum, but I'm still exclusive to
Okay.
Nike. So I've just signed a recent deal with Foot Asylum.
What's it been like trying to learn like that stuff, like the business
That's
side
it.
of it?
Um,
You do it yourself?
Honestly, it's hard.
You do it yourself?
Yeah, I have people that advise me, and
Okay.
I've had mentors for a while for periods of
Yep.
my come up. I've had mentors and people that have supported me, and I'm forever grateful for those people. But honestly, it is hard. Like, it's not easy to walk into these meetings with all these businessmen and women and feel confident to really say how you feel or to if you don't like something they're doing. And it's like that was like the biggest thing for me. Like when I say it's hard, it's like handling yourself and stuff. It's like
Mm.
I know I've probably been taken advantage of in certain situations. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like early on, and that's how you learn. So it's not something I regret or think of in a totally negative way because you learn a lot from those situations. But yeah, like learning that whole side of meetings and expectations, how to manage them, and how to handle yourself in the meeting, how to be assertive, and
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's
like
also I think understanding the.
it's not something you learn in school.
No, it's
It's
not.
just not something you
It's
ever learn unless you're trapped in those situations.
nah, and
So
it's understanding the value of your brand and your platform, which is a really hard thing to measure as well, right? Because in a similar way, I go through it with the podcast. You know, we have X amount of listeners. You know, let's say this episode gets 30,000 downloads, just for example,
yeah,
just for whatever. That has a value to people, and it's like it's working out how to figure out like what that value is worth, and that's got a long-term value because it might get 30,000 downloads in 2 months, but then in 6 months it's at 100,000, and it's like, right,
yeah,
what's that worth? And it's the same with you. It's actual influence. Like you've got a big social media following, right? And
yeah,
it influences young people, which is
yeah,
ultimately what these brands are trying to target. So you have that power, and it's like it is hard, man. Because again, in a similar way, I've been there trying to figure that stuff out, and without much guidance, it's really difficult trying to. Because you end up doing it, you get sort of smoke screened by it's Nike. It's like I'll just do it for whatever, just to be involved.
yeah.
But then, dude, like
I understand.
they've got huge marketing budgets. A lot of what they do is just a drip in the ocean, and you have to figure out that you can ask for certain things and you can negotiate
Yeah,
contracts and stuff, and they're not just going to say, nah, we're not interested, we'll use someone else, because
no.
they've come to you.
Which is
They
what you're
want
scared
you.
of
It is,
as
man,
well
it is
because of the
100%.
power and the name they've got.
Yeah, it is what you're scared of. You're like, nah, I can't walk away from it, I'll do it cheap. But you know what they say, man, it's cheap once, you're cheap forever. That's the problem, right?
For real.
So yeah, it's cool though that you're negotiating that stuff with big corporate companies, and navigating through it at quite an early age as well, man.
Mm.
But
Yeah, because it's definitely probably one of the biggest learning processes and things I've learned
yeah, and like I say,
in
understanding
life.
that
Yeah,
power of your platform, it's huge. It's
it's
very
crazy,
valuable to brands. Really, really valuable.
amazing.
Yeah, it must. I bet it's super engaged your social media as well. It must.
Yeah, it's good. It has its ups and
Yeah,
downs, as I'm sure everyone's does. But overall, like I'm just very consistent as a person when it comes to my riding and stuff. Like I just love riding my
yeah,
bike, so it's hard to not be consistent. So I guess that is very helpful that I'm constantly motivated to go and
yeah.
ride. I think so. At the moment, I'm kind of going to take a little break from YouTube
Okay.
and kind of re-find a new direction with my channel because I'm just feeling a bit. Sometimes it almost feels like I think it's easy for people to get caught up in pointless content in a sense. Um,
Here's my
of
take on that, right? And this is why I think it's a problem, is that you've got, again, on YouTube, big platform. So,
yeah,
and if we're looking at this from a monetary standpoint, you know that if you put any video up, you're gonna get
views.
yeah, you're gonna get views. So it becomes easy. It just becomes
Yeah.
easy money, almost easy viewership. And I think you
Yeah.
get caught up in that. I've had friends that have done that I've just got caught up in it. It's like,
Yeah.
I'll just put any old shit up. And you
Yeah.
know, you're true to yourself, you're true to your passion, you're true to the sport, and you just go, this isn't, it's not right. It's like, I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it, just because that YouTube money comes through every month, like, and it's pretty easy money, right? Like, you only need a few of those videos to go viral, and it's a significant paycheck.
Yeah, it's a long money.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you look at it that way, because I think it is easy to get caught up in it being easy to put this stuff out, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just want to make more meaningful content, I guess. Like, just put a bit more effort into it, have it thought out a bit. So yeah, like, that's kind of where I'm at with YouTube, and then Instagram. I just keep going all the time. It's Instagram. I like Instagram. It's
do you do
cool.
much on the other
I
stuff?
think.
Are you a TikToker?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh shit! I blew up on
really?
TikTok.
I don't use it at all, man. It's so
but
alien.
I don't use it anymore.
Okay.
I don't use it anymore. Like, much, because I don't know. It's weird. My shit just died on it, kind of. Honestly, I got what? But
Do you think you're too old?
No, I don't know. I had a video that hit 70 million views, right? And I blew up like crazy, blown, like got millions and millions of views. My hashtag on TikTok's got like 100. I don't know. It's got. Let me have a look. It's got fucking shitloads of views and stuff. I've got 1.4 million followers.
Really?
But like TikTok, yeah, I blew up on TikTok, but it
What was it?
just not a
You
big.
said there's one video that's got 70 million.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, so that's interesting, man. That's
yeah,
crazy.
my hashtag Jake100, it's got 142.7 million views. My hashtag with this video. This video got 8.6 million likes. It's like a Swerve train.
Oh wow, dude! You know what? I think I've actually seen that video.
Yeah, you probably have. Oh shit, my laptop's about to die.
It's all good. I'm part of the 70 million people that have seen that thing. Jeez.
Yeah, you were one of
Yeah, I
them.
was one of them for sure. I've definitely seen that video. Didn't know it was you, but I have definitely seen that video.
Yeah, that was me.
Dude, that's insane views. 70 million.
Yeah, so that blew up crazy. So yeah, like I use that. I don't use Twitter.
No.
It's too political. I just ain't got enough to say to the world. Like, I just don't feel like the world deserves to need to know my opinion on a lot of things. I'm quite reserved. It's like, if you like me riding my bike, then follow me where you can watch me ride. And
Yeah.
you don't need to hear what I think of Labour or Conservative.
That's funny.
Right, I don't care. No. Right, it's just not there. Oh,
Funny.
just plugging the
Nice,
laptop
no
in.
worries, man. I don't want to keep you too much longer anyway, dude. I want to be mindful of it. It's a nice evening. You got to go ride.
Yeah, I've got to head out in like 10
Yeah, all
minutes.
good. Let's we can look towards wrapping this thing up. So let's just give me a brief rundown of the sort of campaign that you're on with at the moment. So you're doing the Down to Ride at the moment, is that correct? Or
Yeah, at the moment, can you
Yeah.
show me? Yeah, at the moment, Down to Ride, is actually a brand I'm building. We started it as an initiative where we invested in the mechanics for young people, and trying to get that going for young people, like training them up as bicycle mechanics and trying to find a job or an apprenticeship for them. And then that's something I want to continue to do. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to build Down to Ride into a brand and have a sick clothing line. And then X amount of the profits from that can feed back into the project, and it can be a bit of a self-sustainable business and charity.
Okay.
That the business helps out the charity side of things, and that's kind of where I'm going with the whole Down to Ride thing. And then maybe one day have a Down to Ride podcast, or kind of build like a whole little thing. Down to Ride is one of the title sponsors of the race series Off the Streets. Right. So I'm working on that a lot at the moment behind the scenes. It's like I stopped posting on the Instagram in January. I just stopped. I was like, look, I need to refine a new direction, redesign the logo, have a clear plan of when the clothing's going to come out, how it's all going to work. And I almost jumped into that whole Down to Ride thing. I believe I almost jumped into it a bit early, but you live and you learn. It's not a bad thing because the name is so big. Like, the name's become quite big and it's got a lot of attraction. So I know when the brand relaunches and kind of comes back into fruition, it's like
It's gonna blow. Yeah.
it holds some weight. The name is there. People know about it. So that is quite exciting. But yeah, I'm kind of doing a lot. That's what I'm kind of behind the scenes working on now. Like I'm working on a bit of an office space and product space in the spare room at mine.
Cool.
So I'm kind of, yeah, heading in that direction, try to have a brand so that, you know, I'm working for myself, relying
I think
on
the
myself.
podcast thing could be really cool as well. I mean, it's a great way to tell stories, mate, to get people on, you know, maybe that you're helping and get, you know, actually get into it and find out these kids, like what you're doing and, you know, how certain things that you've done have helped them. I think that could be really exciting. Just let me know, obviously, if you need help with any of that. It's no issue at all.
Yeah, that would be great.
No problem at all.
Yeah, I might set one up in my spare room, make it a sick little space.
You should. If you can get, especially if you can get people in as well and do them live, man, that'd be super sick.
Yeah,
you should do that for sure. Yeah, let me know if I can help. I mean, it's relatively easy, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. I'm here to help if you need me.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, man, again, massive thank you for coming on. I know you, let's go riding. I think I'm going to go do the same, actually. It's still relatively nice here, so I'm going to go out for a quick run. I'm going to go start practicing the Swerve thing. I'm going to keep you updated. We're going to try. Let's get some listeners involved as well. Let's see some Swerves. I'll throw something up, a post up, and we'll see if we can get some video submissions and stuff like that in. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But yeah, man, thank you so much. I mean, yeah, really appreciate your time. It's good to hear. I think we could easily do this again and just, you know, keep going down all these little rabbit holes. Sure. But you're doing amazing things, bro. If anyone doesn't follow you, where's the best places for people to go and peep out what you're up to?
Just search me online, Jake100. Simple as Jake100, easy as, and yeah, you'll probably see me on my back wheel somewhere.
All right, I'm gonna throw some links in the show description for everyone as well for for the Bike Life Circus, because that's an amazing video if no one's seen it, and we'll throw up a few latest vlog videos. They're all in the show description down below, folks. And that's it, and that's that. It's been a blast, dude. I really appreciate you taking the time out, and thanks for doing such amazing work for the community, man. It's killer. If we can help at all, just holler. You know, here to help whenever. All right,
let's get it.
Peace.
Peace.
Hang there.
All right, save man.